Maybe just a closing question from this session before we move on to the next one, where we look at the future, is from each of you. I find AI is going so fast, the development is going so fast. And I think when you wrote your proposal and started your project, you kind of knew what kind of AI technologies you were going to pursue. But new technologies are basically being published almost, well, weekly, I would say. Um, if you could add another or explore, suppose you would be able to get another, what, 300 or 400K to your budget to do some additional work on a specific type of AI, which one would you find interesting to investigate? And I'll go from top left to bottom right. So I start with Alexandros.
Okay, so for example, in our project, we didn't consider any kind, for example, of LLMs there. So we see that maybe they can fit well with what we discussed now. Maybe we can have user queries that can support these functionalities of interpreting AI and maybe can give these answers to the end users, as we discuss now more about transparency, or if not LLM, maybe we could also consider some kind of integration of AI capabilities directly into the edge networking devices. For example, we didn't consider if any AI can be uploaded to any switches, gateways, routers, or so on and so on. So this would be an option. For me, at least these two areas maybe could be interesting and could be fit to our project that we didn't include them so far.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandro. Marco.
Okay.
What would you choose?
Yeah, for it will be the same as Alessandro said, but yeah, just to tell you, for the moment, as I said already before, we have considered this workload in the project, the workload characterization, where we used some PCA and let's say encoder-decoder approach for characterize the workloads for the application. So going from high dimensional space to very low dimensional, latent space, where we can, because we are looking mainly at time series along CPU, memory usage, or application specific metric. The second one is the prediction of time series, so that we are looking like some LSTM or some ARIMA or regression approach, this kind of things that allow us to improve the workload and the scheduling of the function. What we didn't consider is, well, let's say that for this anomaly detection logs, we can introduce some LLM that are now could be pretty useful. There are several approaches now for log analysis that allow us to know, for example, to have anomaly detection or to improve the insight within the log itself. So the interpretation of the log could be better using these large language models. That could be something that we can also explore in this project.
Thank you. Claudio, what would you choose?
Yeah, also for me, that's an easy choice. I would say simply an LLM. This is some Edgewise is a project that provides technology that will support AI. And at the time, generative AI was not such a huge wave as it is today. So it didn't fall into the design space of our solutions. We can still fit it in, but it was not there at day zero.
Yeah, and you would use it to support explainability probably, or to better understanding of your regular AI, right?
Well, yeah. Well, we have a different view, I think, compared to that of the other projects on the split responsibilities between technology and the use of AI. Meaning that we are trying to develop solutions that assist that the AI users can actually exploit for the purposes by trying to remain as abstract as possible. So what they want to use with their AI tasks is their own problem. I think that's a sort of safe choice from our point of view, because speaking for myself, I mean, I'm an engineer. I don't want to be blamed if some other guy does something with wrong with the AI model. I'm not AI expert myself. But I understand that at some point the line between technology and a use of AI becomes a bit blurred. So
Yeah.
this is something that I guess will be discussed also in the upcoming part of the panel.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Claudio. Kui Song, what would you choose?
We are lucky that we are already looking at the large language model.
Yeah.
But if we have additional budget, we would like to look at the compliance of AI usage in the continuum, especially considering the AI Act from the Commission. So how this means to the use of AI in the computing continuum, since this is also a critical infrastructure now for the society.
Yeah, thank you. Mark, what would you do?
So again, I'm very inclined to LLMs because I feel that if we have much more budget, for instance, imagine that we have like a AI model that decides, okay, this task should be run in a cluster with 5 machines. This means that somehow we have to provide the means to deploy that cluster, but using text generation that is being provided by LLMs, which automatically generate let's say the Docker files, all the stuff we need to deploy it automatically. So instead of using APIs that are for doing so, we can like have a way to tell to the LLM, please give us or write all the code that we need to deploy this new cluster and launch a computation. So this interesting part of automatic deployment, it could be very great. And I think it matches perfectly well with the Cloud Edge Continuum, because in the end, one of the problems we have essentially is that we have AI, you have like several kind of orchestrators. Each orchestrators has a specific configuration file. So it's like sometimes we have just to rewrite the same kind of deployment multiple times because it's using different orchestrators. So maybe we can have like a way to say, write this deployment for that type of cluster, and this could be generated automatically. And then this is related again to your questions about trustworthiness. So then this could be also an interesting use case to see if LLMs are able to understand what we're saying and they're deploying correctly the dependencies and everything. So I think here it's a good fit for a project like this.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Georgios, what would you choose? What would you choose?
Yeah, sure.
No,
I was muted. Okay, first of all, of course, we have not included in our proposal LLMs, but as a future direction, we have a dashboard in order to have an interactive human-in-the-loop communication. And probably in this interaction with the middleware, for example, we have 3 different use cases. The first one is about manufacturing, the second one is about health, and the third one is about mobility. We have a scenario, let's say, about a medical practitioner that interacts with our dashboard, and probably an enhancement for this interaction in order to get the results and also get feedback regarding probably also considering the explainability of the decision of this AI system. We can somehow adopt also LLM technologies. But of course, this is something that we did not include in our project, but we can.
Okay.
I think I have also one more question from the audience about the. Give me 1 minute to check again the question. Okay, about the bidding and auctioning comes from the multi-agent system and how this connected with the self-organization, which is one of our main objectives, the self-organization of the different devices existing in this computing continuum ecosystem. So we have these 3 main properties I said previously about the pricing, the bidding, and the auctioning properties, and each device somehow has a different approach. For example, we need for this 10 devices, or for the and about this bidding, the algorithms of the asymmetric multiplayer competitive games give the optional solution in order to have all the different systems
Rated.
yes.
So you can compare them.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. We
Yeah.
have different levels, and according this, the main consideration of Coconuts project is about game theory. So this is about also considering three main aspects: the computing, in order to have without any problems a functional
Yeah.
operation, of course, but also considering the energy optimization and the security aspect. And all these three levels, of course, I will not go into technical details, but these are the main theoretical aspects that also affects the result of this distribution,
Perfect.
let's say.
Thank you. Thank you also for answering the question. Ruta, the final question to you, which AI technology would you explore or add to your portfolio to invest a little bit more time in, had you had a little bit more budget?
Okay, so as said, we are focusing on decentralization and miniaturization. So LLMs don't have an explicit, or generative AI doesn't have an explicit role here. So if we had more budget, we could explore, let's say, for instance, one of the things we want to explore and are exploring is swarm learning, which has some weight in terms of design, okay, may not fit all the scenarios that we have that are mobile, for instance, with cars, etc. Or with the mobile automated robots, okay, which are based on embedded devices such as Raspberry Pis, okay. And so we are still defining how to do this. Marl is an option. So LLMs could have a place, okay. So we discussed this. It's not in the project, and there is no intention during the lifetime of the project really to explore this. It could have a place, and possibly will have in future follow-ups of this project, okay. Related with experimentation framework that Codeco brings. So as said, we have the open source software, but we have also developed an experimentation framework, okay, that anybody can use. So to do immediate deployment of clusters and to use load generators, and all the Codeco components are expected to be there right there. Right now we have two linked, so the scheduler and what we call ACM, so the control plane. And the LLMs have a place there because that's like a centralized approach to generate, you know, different environments and to do, let's say, to increase variability in the type of testing that we want to do. So that's where LLMs could have a place, okay, but not in my opinion, and at least other partners that are involved in the AI. In terms of far edge, okay, quite tricky to consider that at the current stage.
Yeah.
So we would like to prefer to really approach on this decentralization, which we think is important in IoT environments.
Yeah, I think across the whole continuum, edge to cloud, decentralization is key.